Welcome to On the Fly College Edition, a podcast presented by Playfly Sports. I'm your host, Gene DeFilippo. Playfly Sports is the full-service marketing and media company bringing digitally enabled innovations to the sports industry. Today's guest on our show is the Director of Athletics at the University of New Mexico, Eddie Nuñez, and the founder and CEO of Playfly Sports. Eddie, let's start with you. You were a basketball player for Billy Donovan. You went on and coached with Billy. You were on the staff at Marquette. You became an administrator. Just go over your travels and your success so far.
Well, I appreciate being here, Gene and Michael. Good to see you guys. Absolutely. I started in this career, like many others, trying to find out where that niche would be. It was if it's in coaching or in administrative. I had the fortunate ability to play for Coach Donovan at the University of Florida. Learned a lot during my time there. I also had the ability to Jeremy Foley and others that were in administrative side there gave me the opportunity to go work in the business side, compliance, sports shop, academics. I had an opportunity to really, as an intern, be able to understand or start understanding what the world of college athletics was beyond coaching or beyond as a student athlete. So I took the opportunity Coach gave me, went coach for a couple years with him there as a graduate assistant. Then from there went to Marquette University with Tom Crean, and we had a couple good players at the time, and of course they continued and went to the Final Four a couple years after that. And but during my time coaching, I always had the kind of the itch to want to get into the administrative side. I had a conversation with Jeremy Foley at one point, and he said, look, if you're going to try it now. You could always go back into coaching. That's an opportunity that will always be there. Go give it a try. And there was an opportunity that opened up at Vanderbilt University. It was director of game and events, and went interviewed, and I never looked back. Honestly, it was exactly what I was hoping for, and they gave me the opportunity because I studied architecture for 3.5 years, almost obtained my degree in architecture, which is crazy, to help and spearhead some of the oversight of some of the construction and the design of some of the projects they were doing at the time. So that really gave me an opportunity to understand the fundraising, the capital projects, the facilities, the events, the marketing. And from there, went to LSU, 14 years at LSU, 7 different opportunities there to advance through the profession. And then this opportunity presented itself. So been here now. This is my 5th year as the director of athletics, and had a lot to deal with in the first several years, but in a great place. In a great place today. In a great place today.
Well said.
Yeah.
And Eddie, tell us a little bit about the Commissioner's Award. I know that you don't like to talk about it a lot, but we do. We're proud of you. The Commissioner's Award is awarded by the Mountain West Conference. It's only been awarded to 3 different times, and it was awarded to you this year. And tell us a little bit about that award.
It means a lot to me because of what we had to overcome over the last several years. But really this last year going through the pandemic, understanding that we had some challenges like many others. We had to do some things that were uncommon. We had to remove our teams from our state and travel them to different locations. Our football team was in Vegas, only team ever in college history to never play one game in their own state. We had our basketball teams in Texas, but what really helped was establishing the vision, at the same time trying to do everything we could to continue to move our program forward. And to be able to obtain this award really is a testament to our student athletes, our coaches, so buying into the vision, trusting that the process that we were going to do was going to be beneficial at the end of the day. I was never going to put our student athletes or coaches or anybody in a position that I knew were not going to be safe or from dealing with the pandemic. But having navigated some challenges at my previous institution and other places allowed me to understand that with proper planning, following the process, that we would have a chance to really have success. And at the end of last year, we garnered 6 conference championships, more than any group of 5 institution, more than many Power 5 schools. So I was very proud of what we were able to do And on to add to that, academically, we set another record with GPA for our athletic department. So very proud and honored to receive, as you said, third time in the 20 plus history of the conference that this award has been awarded. And so I'm honored, but it is a true testament to my staff and our coaches for buying into the vision and seeing that we can do this and do it together.
My good friend who I just spoke with this afternoon, Joe Aleva, he told me years ago, he said, Gene, this guy is going to be a great AD. And he was right on.
Appreciate
Mike,
it.
My boss, Mike Schreiber.
Wow.
Mike, what a job you've done with Playfly. Catch us up a little bit on your past, and then we can get into Playfly and how it's expanded and all of that.
Sure. Yeah. And thanks for having me on too, Gene. This is great. This is fun. But I really want to talk about Eddie, because the success of our business is really based off of our partners, right? If we don't have partners that really treat our teams like part of their department and treat our vision like their vision, we treat their vision like our vision, then we're not really successful. So just one testament to where we've gotten to as Playfly Sports is great partners, and Eddie is sort of the the epitome of that for us. Really, both our team and his team are all sort of rowing in the same direction when it comes to driving value for the University of New Mexico and for our business ultimately. But we're a derivative of their success. So it's really exciting to see the partnership. But just quickly on the background of Playfly, and I think I'll to entertain, Gene, your question here. We are relatively new to the world. Our brand is new. We have put together some businesses that have been in the multimedia rights and other space for 20, 30 years. But our brand is new, and I'm new to the industry. So my background's mostly in transformation, major media company, digital transformation. So taking what is some of the traditional ways the media industry has operated and kind of flipping on its head and trying to figure out new ways to attract and engage fans and viewers and different experiences. So from my history coming through, whether it's the founding of Hulu, whether it's putting together new and interesting businesses that attract new customers and new ways to view content, whether it's on the phone, on the computer, through social. I got so excited to be able to start Playfly Sports because I can combine that digital transformation background with my passion for college sports. And we can put those two things together and really change the dynamic in college sports for partners like Eddie and the University of New Mexico. It's a opportunity to think about the business in a different way, really thinking like a media company, thinking about the future, trying to sort of create a model that actually drives new ways to interact with a college sports brand. And that's the goal. We want people to feel like they have more opportunities on more platforms to interact. For example, the New Mexico brand, more opportunities to see the great student athletes that participate, not just in the big, football and basketball programs, but all the different sports. We want to be able to give rise to and exposure to all the different great work. Obviously, Eddie winning the Commissioner's Award is just a great example of all the work that Eddie's doing. So we need to shine a light on that through media. And then at the same time, raising all those boats when it comes to media, whether it's TV, radio, digital, we're then also going out to some great brand partners and advertisers to partner themselves up with that same emotional experience, to be able to give them the opportunity to show their brands off at the same time as all the success that Eddie's having and New Mexico's having. So you combine that emotion and that passion, that creates value for those advertisers to be associated with that experience. So you put that all together, we create value together, and we can actually try to future-proof the world of college sports at the same time and drive new growth and new brand value. So I'm excited by the Playfly Sports business. Really has a lot of upward trajectory here, but I don't want to take a lot of time talking about me. I want to talk about Eddie and the program and all the great work that he's doing, because that's really determinative. We can't be successful if it's not for great leaders like Eddie in the business.
Great. Eddie, you are a terrific leader. There's no question about that. What are some of the characteristics that you think every leader should possess?
I think first and foremost in this business, one of the things that we have to stay to our core is providing value to others. And I mean, you're hearing Michael say that their focus is value. And for me, it's that servant leadership. It's being able to know that we're here to serve others in every way, not just our fan base, but truly our student athletes, and being able to put them in a position to be successful. So having that understanding first and foremost, I think is truly important. Integrity. And I think one of the things that we're also more and more every day having to understand as our industry keeps changing is being able to adapt. I think adaptability is something that is extremely important. But then when you add those three with accountability and great listener, because communication is key. I get it. But what we do sometimes too often is we're willing to speak before we listen. And I think that's what great leaders do. They do a good job of listening, understanding, and you know what? It's okay to not know all the answers. And I think that's what I've learned throughout my experiences is, you would have asked me 10 years ago, I was probably the hothead in the room trying to give you all the answers without thinking and listening. And part of that comes with maturity, with maturing and understanding and being part of other rooms and listening to people like the Dan Radakoviches and the Joe Levas and others that were in those rooms, Skip Burtman and Brad Bates and all the ones that I've been around that have gone to a position of leading their own departments. To me, that those were things that I was able to understand, take from, and learn to be a listener and let others put good people around you to make the decisions that are necessary.
Yeah. Eddie, you're one of the few ADs anymore that can say you actually played the game on the collegiate level, you coached the game on the collegiate level, and now you're administering it. Tell everybody out there what advantages you have, because I think there are many.
Yeah.
I know I came up the same way you did, but I think there are many. And why don't you go over a couple of them?
Again, I think it starts off with having that understanding of what a student athlete is going through. Now, I can't sit here today and say that I understand exactly what they're going through today. Today is different than what I went through, but I do understand the time management. I understand the expectations. I understand all the other intangibles that we all have to experience as a student athlete. As a coach, quirky group. I was a part of it. You were a part of it. You understand. We're quirky. You're in that side of the world. You're just different, and it's okay. So having that understanding, that knowledge of, okay, I understand why they asked this, what they're looking for. We're all here to serve our student athletes and put them in the best position to win championships, go on to live successful and productive lives. But the reality is you have to understand, be able to talk to them. Coach Burtman told me this a long time ago. Sometimes you have to coach your coaches. And for me to understand what it means to be a student athlete and a coach allows me to, when I have to have those conversations with my coaches, it's to be able to understand or let them understand how I can relate to them, but I'm also not going to put them in a position that's going to put our program, backwards or not allow us to move forward. So for me, it's allowed me, again, the opportunity to understand those two groups, which are very important in our department, but it's also understanding where we need to go as an industry, because I can sit here and say, I know what those two groups are looking for. I'm not going to say I know it perfectly today, but I understand what some of the goals are usually. And when it comes to hiring also, it's a huge asset to be able to say, I know what kind of staff member I'm looking for. If it's a coach, if it's a staff member, who relates not just to the values and the core and the vision of what we're trying to do as a department, but as a university, and what's going to lead us in the right direction in the future.
Yeah, well said. Very well said. And I think that experience gives you some instant credibility with both student athletes and coaches, which is really important.
Yep.
Eddie, talk about your multimedia rights, your partnership, which is definitely a partnership that has been beneficial to the University of New Mexico as well as the Playfly. But tell our young administrators and some of the athletic directors out there what kind of you know, what kind of merger do we have, and how it's been beneficial to both sides?
Again, because of the way the college athletics world is changing, right now more than ever, we have to be willing to think outside the box. And we've all said this for years in this business. We think outside the box, and now more than ever, we have to sit down with our partners. It has to be a group decision. One of the things that I do here, and it's because of what I've seen and as I've gone through this industry, is I have to keep them close to every decision we make. Their group is part of our group. It's not a standalone. When they want me to speak to a partner, let's do it. I want to be in every conversation that I can be. I understand time is sometimes challenging for everybody. In some schools, you're not going to have that ability. Here, I wanted to focus more than ever on bringing that community group back. Felt like, but when I got here, it wasn't as strong as it needed to be. Playfly understood that value that Michael was talking about earlier is important to me. I want to be able to provide value back to those partners, as well as have them, of course, reciprocate that to us. So it's a mutual decision here when we partner with anyone, that they understand from my perspective that I want to help them as much as they want to help us. And to do that, yeah, maybe we're going to have to do some things that are uncommon. Well, that's okay. Let's look at things. I mean, and then you start throwing in the ability that Playfly brings to the equation, which I'm really excited about, is their ties to the esports. And again, all the technology and everything else that right now we have to be on the forefront of this. And so being able to understand, being able to lead with some of these initiatives is going to be key. So it's been extremely important to me, really more than anything, because of the ability to plan forward, look forward, but also the ability to bring in our community even tighter with our Lobos here.
Great. Mike, why don't you expand on that? Playfly is much more than a multimedia rights company, and tell our listeners out there what Playfly is doing that's pretty special and unique to the University of New Mexico and our other partners.
First up, I would just reiterate what Eddie mentioned, which is, we work together in a lot of these pitches. Eddie actually has been really gracious with his time about joining us on a number of those conversations to help us, sell in some of these great opportunities to the advertising community, and just have had some great successes. Even recently, just a big insurance deal closed a couple weeks ago. We got a casino, which is not necessarily always the case at a university, to be able to pull a casino advertising in. So thanks to the leadership with Eddie there. And then, just in terms of some of these tech and new initiatives that we're running, we've launched in partnership with Eddie a new University of New Mexico app, mobile application. And the numbers, I just got another round of them this morning, just continue to grow and continue to be successful there. So working on driving more and more, content and offering into those experiences. So it's fun to work together with someone who has a similar belief in pushing the envelope and growing. We even got the Lobos logo onto a beer distributor locally, which was great, exciting, and you got one right there. Yeah, good.
We've got plenty. Honestly, I just want to jump in for Mike, because I think it's something that we had a vision for. At my previous institution, we had the ability to have a great partnership with a local distributor, and to be able to bring that group into here and now start branding Bud Light, but branding bottles, branding their packages, seeing it here across our state. I mean, you can't replicate what that's doing as far as marketing, advertising, seeing that partnership grow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, because I love those, because what it does is it's like a win-win-win, right? Someone walks into the store, they see their favorite beverage with their favorite school, and they want to grab it and watch their favorite game, right? And you put those three things together, and it's just like this passionate, emotional experience that the fan has. And that gives everybody benefit, right? The beer distributor gets benefit, the university and your team, Eddie, gets benefit, and then we get benefit for helping facilitate the deal, and the fan is happy, right? It's just a all around, those types of deals are really interesting and exciting and fun to help orchestrate. So thanks for your leadership.
Mike, quickly here, Eddie mentioned esports, and that's something that you are really, really great at. Talk a little bit about esports.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I'm even wearing the brand here on my shirt, but our esports brand, CSL. So we have been thinking about college sports in a way that's a little different than most. Again, our goal is to try to be future-proofing the business and supporting all of our partners to think about the next level in terms of all of college athletics. But when it comes to esports, the interesting thing is the sweet spot of esports is really that college age student. And those are the kids that, we see 70 to 80% of the kids that show up on campus consider themselves a gamer, whether it's a boy or a girl. It's amazing. And when you think about that, the world is changing in terms of the engagement that you have with different types of sports. And as you think about that and you think about what's happening in the world of competitive video gaming, it's a perfect combination with this age group in colleges and competitive video gaming becoming a huge category that we've tried to figure out how to harness that value in a way that has not only helping our university partners, but really trying to build a new category for college sports going forward. So what we've done is we've invested in a few businesses and put them together, which has now created CSL Esports, which is the largest college collegiate esports league in the country. So we have hundreds and hundreds of teams that participate in this league across the U.S. And it's pretty interesting because they don't necessarily play just sports simulation games like Madden or NBA 2K. They play the real hardcore kind of games that esports students really like to play. Whether that's a League of Legends, whether that's a Rocket League or Fortnite, etc. So these are the games that really get people excited, especially that age group. I've got middle schoolers, and I really have a feeling when they start going to college here in the next 5 to 6 years, they're going to walk onto campus and they're going to be excited about where the basketball arena is. They're going to go want to see the football stadium, and they're going to want to know in 5 years where the esports arena is. Where's the esports venue, right? Where can they go hang out and watch games and play with some of the best equipment on campus? So I'm a big believer in that category. So we're helping schools, including New Mexico, think about how to really elevate in that space and utilize some of the services and some of the expertise that we have, because we want to try to really think about the space differently. And it's going to be a big category. It's going to drive revenue. It's going to have ticketing. It's going to have donor effects. It's going to have merch and sponsorship and all of these elements that we see that are the commercial side of our athletic department friends that you're going to need to figure out exactly how to deal with at some point in the future. So we want to be as helpful as possible. So
I'll add this to it because I think this is important, Gene. First of all, I know Gene's coming over Gene's head right now talking
Yes, it is.
I mean, that's a given. You knew that. But, I think one of the biggest key attributes that this is bringing to us is it's allowing us to connect even better with our campus community, with the general student population, which is really in the mix every day doing this. And so for us to open up that dialogue, to have those meetings with campus groups and the faculty and those that are overseeing has really opened up some opportunities that I honestly probably wouldn't have been open if it wasn't for this. So this can really start getting that alignment with the campus, which we all want, we all ask for, even stronger than ever.
Eddie, back to you. There's a lot of young administrators that are listening. There's ADs that are listening. What advice would you give to a young Eddie Nuñez coming up in your career?
I think first, appreciate this journey, because a lot of people don't. And I think in the beginning, there's so many challenges coming from every direction. Just learning how this industry works, learning all those different aspects. Sometimes you forget to appreciate what you're doing and why you're doing this. And so I've learned, because of some of the ups and downs we've had to go through, to take a step back at times and really appreciate where we are today and some of the things that I've gone through in my career. I would tell them to take your time, be patient. We all want to find that grass is greener on the other side. And too many people are hearing me talk about this now because it feels like everybody's trying to jump for the next best thing. Really take your time, understand what you can do to provide a benefit to those around you. And then lastly, I would say, and just continue to be a sponge. More than ever nowadays, you have to learn every aspect of this business that you can. If you're going to start off in one area, don't be resistant to a specific group or another just because you don't understand them well. Get over there, sit down with them, talk to them, and then network. It's the last thing I would tell you. Network, because I think people forget often the simplicity of writing a handwritten letter and how far that goes. I know old school. I feel sometimes I'm an old soul, but I mean, you understand this, Gene, probably better than anyone else. Is those handwritten notes to people go a long way. And I think in the world of networking, I remember the Dutches of the world and others that talked to us about doing those little things, how simple they are, but how far they go.
Yeah. Eddie, you said something that really hit home with me. You know, the true warrior appreciates the journey as well as he or she does the prize. And for those of you who are young out there, I can tell you honestly that there are times in my life where I did not enjoy life as I should have. I was so driven and I wanted to move up the ladder that I really didn't enjoy the journey as I should have. So your advice there is really, really special. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Eddie, another question.
Yeah.
You've had so many successes and you'll continue to have successes. What has been the most rewarding things that have occurred in your career?
Well, I appreciate you saying I've been fortunate to be around some successful teams and some successful programs. We've won championships, and sometimes I look and, I mean, we're winning as a high school. I understood what it meant to win championships all the way through where I am today. That's all special. But with that as well, we've had losses. We've had things that have helped us learn. So as good as all it is to win all the championships and everything, that's important because that's one of the reasons we do this business as well. And we do our job is to give our student athletes that ability. But to me, the most rewarding thing, and I know you've heard this from other administrators, it truly now I'm starting to see it more than ever as a director of athletics, because seeing our student athletes experience how their experiences go here and when they leave here and being able to see them when they come back. I still remember my first graduating class, my first year here, and seeing those individuals graduate, and now starting to see them come back. All that's important, but it's really what's really more important than anything else is having them see where they can be so productive to their own societies, wherever it is. If it's in the medical field, if it's in their own community, that to me has been honestly one of the most rewarding experiences that I can say. And I'm here to serve. And I've said this many times, and I'll always say it is, that's what we do this for, is to provide value to others, and to see those student athletes be able to get and accomplish what they're striving to accomplish, and then ultimately be able to achieve that degree and further their education and get into a profession that they're choosing to do. That's what it's all about. I mean, yes, we all want to win championships, and that's great. Sometimes we forget that it's bigger than that, but we've got to continue to remind ourselves it's about others, and it's about those individuals that we serve every day.
Mike, nobody enjoys the journey more than you do. I get an opportunity to work with you all the time. You really enjoy the journey, and that's one of the many things that I respect about you. You founded Playfly probably 13, 14 months ago, something like that. What's been most rewarding for you?
So thanks, Gene, for the question. Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, when when Eddie talks about the student athlete experience, man, that just makes me jealous. I'm in business all day, but Eddie's actually changing lives. Like this is a for me, it's really meaningful for us to try to create revenue to give back to the university so they can go and change the lives like Eddie's talking about, and really making an impact on a student athlete, whether it's in the bigger money sports or the Olympic sports or what have you. It's an opportunity for us. Our business is also heavily in the high school space as well, where we lead multimedia rights for state high school associations, including actually New Mexico, the state of New Mexico. So there's an additional layer that I love about our business, because it's not just the sports that are sort of you think about when you think about big media like pro and college, but it's also high school, and really trying to provide back that value. So I love that. That's meaningful for me. But the coolest thing about what we've been able to do in the year and change that we've been in business is we've created a ton of jobs in sports. So we've actually elevated this business to a point where we're actually creating jobs in a way that really creates new opportunities, new career paths. A lot of former athletes actually are part of our portfolio of
yes, they are
employees. So it's fun. So we're creating jobs, we're growing the business, but all at the same time is creating benefit back to all of our partners, like the University of New Mexico and Eddie's team. So I just love that sort of yin yang experience where you bring together the commercial side. We are running a business, but bringing it, creating jobs, and then bringing that value back to all of our partners to help them support their programs. That's just an exciting element of this whole business, and it's fun to keep that rolling and growing. And we even have non-multimedia rights businesses that we roll out and support businesses, whether it's our tech businesses, our subscription businesses, our content production businesses. We talked a little about esports and others. So we're just excited to continue to roll and support all of our partners, including great leaders like Eddie. And I'm actually gonna roll with my my Lobos.
There you go.
There we go.
My hat. If you're listening on the podcast, I just put on a Lobos hat, so I'm gearing up. I'm excited to be here with Eddie and the team. So I got to throw the brand on here for a little bit of.
Got to get you a helmet so you can throw it back there too. We'll get you on.
Yeah, there you go, Eddie. You worked your way up through the system, and as much as any other athletic director, you've done a great job of cross training and really providing leadership and expertise for those people who work with you. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I tell you that very early in my career, I was given that ability to attend certain professional development groups, like at the time, which was where it's today, Lead One. It was the D1 Institute. Something as special as the D1 Institute allowed me to not just understand, see others that are going through the same things you're going through, but understand what are those little things, those intangibles that help us continue to get better. And I was fortunate to attend the NACTA Mentoring Institute, some of these professional development, I don't want to say institutes, but just courses that give you SMI and others that gave me the base to understand. Look, these are things that you have to understand, but what you take from it is even greater, and that's the network. That's the ability to want to learn more. And I think sometimes people forget about, look, just because you went today doesn't mean you stop learning. So that's one of the things I'm trying to focus right now on my staff, and just honestly others out there that I mentor that work for me at LSU or Vanderbilt or some other place, that I have the ability now to mentor or advise, like others are doing still for me today, is give them the resources, give them the ability. What does that mean? That means giving them access to individuals that are sitting in the seat, individuals that cross different platforms, somebody in the professional world in regards to the business, or maybe in professional sports. So allowing individuals now more than ever to be able to experience that, and coaches, they need it. Assistant coaches out there right now, with the lack of travel or whatever because of COVID, they've been limited. So the more we can do there, the better it's going to be.
We're out of time on this week's On the Fly College Edition. I'm your host, Gene DeFilippo. Thanks for your time this time, and we'll see you next time.